My people, this na TMC TV. My name na Omo Aluke Ajakaye. And as you know for TMC TV, na today we concern you. We concern mama, we concern brother, we concern sister, we concern everybody. So make sure say our country dey better. Now they carry come your domota. We dey do am for the language and you understand. Where everybody understand, when pastor understand, when market woman understand, when person for office understand. And that language na pidgin English because we dey purely pidgin. Make we sharply you carry you enter Edo State. So somebody you want to read when you come out for Edo State. Yes. First Monday for October every year, na UN declare as World Habitat Day to chook mouth on top our environment, to chook mouth on top our land, to chook mouth on top wetin oyibo dey call our habitat where we dey stay. Na this one come make Edo State government through the Ministry of Physical Planning, Housing, Urban and Regional Development do talk with stakeholders, traditional rulers, religious leaders, students kpakpa and even government people to chook mouth on top things wey dey affect our land for the state. And this one can give opportunity for the ministry to show stakeholders the first phase of the Edo State Regional Master Plan and the Benin City Master Plan. Make you give una the full tori as the matter happen for Victor Wifo Creative Hub on Tuesday for Benin City. World Habitat Day, when first shele for Kenya for 1986, na yearly United Nations celebration wey dey happen for the first Monday inside October every year. This event, when the theme na Mind the Gap, Leave No One and Place Behind, na opportunity for the ministry to do talk with important stakeholders and constituent people say them dey responsible for their habitats. Commissioner for Physical Planning, Housing, Urban and Regional Development, Isokan Omo, talk say na the first time wey Edo State dey celebrate this event sake of say e dey in line with the new development wey dey shele for the state.
But what is unique about World Habitat Day this year is that Edo State is celebrating it for the first time. Can we clap for ourselves? And we're celebrating it for the first time, not because we didn't know we should do it before, but somehow it fits into what is going on in Edo State right now. And we also want to continue to celebrate the World Habitat Day. I want to particularly welcome our children, because our children are our future. We're already living our lives. And if we don't prepare them, then this Edo of our dreams might always be a mirage. So I'm so happy that the children are represented here. Today we should sit down, as this theme says, mind the gap. Leave no one or place behind. So what do we need to do to mind the gap in our habitat? How do we engage to make sure we leave no one behind? And so that's what Edo is doing with the master plans. We're doing 2 master plans. Edo State Regional Development Plan and Benin City Master Plan. And all of it is to make sure that our environment continues to remain habitable and continues to give us value for us to bring out our best within the environment. And this project is a 24-month project. We started it last May and we're supposed to finish next May. Now, we're bringing the phase 1 for you to look at, because we do not want to bring to you a finished document that you did not understand how it was formed, that you did not participate in. We have been engaging with stakeholders. I think the built environment were the first we actually called, and we have been calling across the spectrum. And in that process, we're trying to produce a living document, a document that from now we are implementing. So we've told the consultants, don't plan for us, plan with us. Teach us how to plan our environment. There's so many things planned for Urban October that we are starting today, so that you can always be conscious. When it starts raining and people fling their rubbish out, it's going somewhere, is it not? It's blocking our drains, and then flooding comes, and so many other things. But when you start becoming conscious that I am part of this problem, and I owe myself a responsibility to do right so that the earth will continually yield its increase.
Dr. Barry Iwuru, wey be consultant for Sierra Nigeria Limited, and some panelists come chook mouth for the first phase of the Edo State Regional Master Plan and the Benin City Master Plan.
When we talk about master plan, we are talking about all activities. How do you allocate the land to the activities? If you talk about water, if you talk about roads, if you talk about schools, name it, your buildings and all, how do you allocate the land? Not just that alone, the facilities that we also use in our environment, how are they planned for? If we have 1 million people in Benin City today, in the next 5 years or 10 years, the population will increase. Then we'll need more schools, we'll need more roads, we need more healthcare facilities. Then how do you plan for the people that are not here now? That is what the master plan tries to look at. But 2 assignments have been given to Siraj, the Edo State Regional Development Plan and the Benin City Master Plan. The way we are going to look at it is simply, the first, we'll look at the phases we will follow in carrying out the master plan. The first phase, when you look at it, we term it to be phase 0, which involves the inception report. The inception report has been written and submitted to the governor, and I am sure the ESCO approved that, and that was why we were able to move to phase 1. Phase 1 is a background analysis, baseline data studies, analysis, and diagnostic and problematics. Then phase 2, setting out objectives for Edo State's sustainable development and Benin City's sustainable development. Then phase 3, Edo State regional development and Benin City master plan. With the final stage, monitoring and capacity building and Edo State and Benin City plan. Please, the next slide. This will tell us the status, how far we have gone. And we've gone through some processes. And the first phase is what we want to show to you today. If you look at the inception report, 100% complete. The second phase, we are 95% complete. The second phase there, which is just 20% complete. The third phase, 10%. And the final phase, which is phase 4, 30% complete. The next slide. The first area we'll look at is the prevailing relevant studies. How are they? Review and analysis of the 16 previous planning, development, and related studies and orientations. Please, next slide. This is how we try to arrange it.
Presented to us by Sarah. Detailed. Make mention of the borehole. As much as I know, every water supply in Edo State now is being done by individuals for their own self. I will recall that when I was growing up, I do know of pipe-borne water, and I drank from pipe-borne water, and then our parents were made to pay bills because government was spending money to supply. Now, if you incorporate this idea, I don't know whether that's the intention of dwellers paying bills, having some borehole by themselves. You know, this idea was raised sometime, it did not work. It's going to cause tension because it's as good as you placing bills on the air we breathe. Because if I stay in my house, I breathe in air, government may say because I'm staying there, I'm breathing air, I should come and pay. And now I'm taking water underneath, you are saying I should come and pay by my own self. So, sir, that area should be properly considered.
Get worried from some little observations. God, this is a document how we prepare for the people. For the people. Because it's going to affect their lives, intended to bridge the gap that exists in such a way that no one and a bridge is left behind. You talk about population, especially for the future. We need to know the past condition of the human settlement or facilities and the present situation, so as to use the past and the present to project for the next 30 years to come. You talk of the land coverage from 2000 to date. I was also expecting to say that the Benin City Master Plan is going to cover an area, a square meter, kilometer area of so and so.
Thank you very much. The issue of planning, it's a very laudable one. It needs a lot of political will. We are particularly happy that the present government has taken the decision to do this planning stuff. We all grew up in this town. Like the former speaker said, the issue of water. You go to the tap, you take water. But these days, every house is a local government on its own. You provide your water, you provide your security, everything is provided by the individual. I hope that with the plan that is on now, especially for the new town that we are talking about, I hope all these things will be taken into consideration.
Was very lucid, very clear, detailed. Judging from the fact that it was handled by the expert who is also working with the company. The master plan, we have two handling simultaneously, the urban master plan and regional master plan of the state. Is very apt and dovetailed to this year's World Habitat Day, Mind the Gap, leaving no one and place behind. That speaks to the rural-urban continuum. We used to have this discrete urban area, rural area, and that created gaps. Now, for some years back, the world has moved beyond that and embrace the concept of rural-urban continuum, where both urban and rural should be, planned together as one entity. Because experience has shown that if you plan for the city, people will vote with their legs. They will leave the area not planned for and come to the area that was planned for. And before you know it, the plan will be distorted.
Still atop the master plan matter, Commissioner for Water Resources Moses Agboko talk say e no dey plan of government at all to task owners of private boreholes for the state. E constantly yarn some things wey government dey do to make sure say water supply dey steady for rural communities.
The government do not intend to tax people for having private borehole. It is not correct. Having said that, I want to also let our brother, the first speaker, to know that it is not also correct to say that 100% of the boreholes in Edo State are privately owned. That is fallacious and that is not correct. I want to say that the Edo State government, through the Ministry of Water Resources, has done so much in the area of providing accessible, portable and affordable water for the people of Edo State. The reason why in the urban centers you are not seeing public tank flowing as it used to be is because one of the directives of Mr. Governor, which is as a result of his visionary leadership, is that most of the households in the cities, people who afford private boreholes. But our parents in the rural areas, There are communities where you don't have an individual who can even sink a borehole. So the emphasis of government is towards these rural areas. The government is not thinking that if we create a new town, we allow people to begin to sink their individual borehole any longer. Because the proliferation of boreholes is even dangerous. It's just that we are fortunate that this part of the climb, we have an environment that is not prone to easy earthquake. So government will not encourage that individual boreholes in this new town. That is why government will provide public tap for the people of such new town.
Commissioner for Environment, Engineer Jonathan Lawani, Commissioner for Roads and Bridges, Newton Okoje, Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Stephen Idere, Commissioner for Security and Safety, Omololu Ojiomo, and Head of Edo State Investment Promotion Office, Kelvin Wagbai, cut chook mouth for the matter.
I want to encourage the Shiraj, and I know very well that is one of the unique features we are going to have in our new town, is the gap. Because if we don't mind the gap, we will create a gap. What is this gap? I'm also very happy that we have people from the built environment here today. What we have seen, especially in the developing area of the state, is that people want to use the whole space that is available for their own building. So it's baffled me to know that an architect or an engineer is planning a building on a plot, and he's advising his client that don't worry, it can contain everything just to maximize profit. And then you build in the entire plot without even giving any portion for public facilities, such as the water we are talking about, electricity like underground cable, and then most importantly, in this state where we have fighting erosion problem, there is not even a gap to create drainage systems.
In our development of the state now, we have come to the point where, in my mind, government alone may not be able to develop the state. What do I mean? We have come to the point where if we want to leave the entire work to be done by government, we may not be able to go far. We need every hand to be on board now if we are actually to develop a state that we all can be proud of. A state does not belong to the government alone. It belongs to the people more than the government.
We feel from the ministry position that both Siraj and the town planner have chosen to leave a certain group behind. When you look at the movement of the urban centers, the number one victim are the farmers. They are the ones you keep pushing into extension. The further they go, the more expensive your food gets to the table.
We ask government to build roads. Government builds roads. As I drive through, I find that people have thrown gravel on it, they've thrown sand on it, they've thrown trash on it. And all of these things break down those roads. We can't make comparisons with America or start talking about where the grass is green. For the grass to be green, they watered it, they fertilized it, they took care of it to get it to where it is. If we want our grass to get green, then we all need to put our hands on deck together to make this work. So when I have people asking, so how does all of this that this government is doing going to succeed? It is you that is going to make it succeed. It is you that has to care enough to want a better environment.
We are looking at the Edo State being that state
that can attract investment, that can attract businesses. We can't do it without this, which is planning. But for us here, one of the things I see that we need to now carry everybody along are the local governments, our traditional rulers. They play a key role in ensuring. So beyond us having to have our ambiances, having to have, the structures, the people in our DNA, what are we thinking about? I worry a lot. I worry about how we are taking some of these developments. And I will still ask this question here today. As Edo people, are we ready for the kind of development that we are expecting?
Traditional rulers and students constitute their voice inside wetin dey shele for Edo State and come still ask questions, and the commissioner, Isoke Omo, come give them sharp responses.
A good traditional ruler that knows that he is part and parcel of the government of the state will not argue or can never argue with the government in need of plan.
In the past, we've not made provision. Now we are making provision. Some of our communities we've so long without making adequate provision, even in creation of roads and other social amenities, which we are not provide for. But I believe by the time we come up with the second phrase, just as you earlier said, then we believe the traditional ruler will be carried along so that we keep implementing it in our own community. So another thing, I will also about the ministry to also put it in jingle so that the message can go far.
During the presentation, I observed that under the governance, we have political continuity and perseverance. But recently, we have witnessed that most of our political leaders, some of them are greedy, some of them have their mind of they don't really put the people's interests at heart. So for instance, if Obasanjo government were to leave and the next government, would that person have the same idea? We really want to continue this master plan, or we don't want to just change everything and just start to do our politics and everything. So what like the measures, which plan is put in place so in case that kind of thing happens, to keep this master plan going on for years?
The issue of flood in our areas, because most of our areas now, due to flooding, some people's businesses are being affected. Some parents don't allow their children to go to school, so they'll not be taken away by the flood. Now, all these flooded areas, what preventive measures are government do to create maybe a better drainage system? And those drainage systems that are in place, what measures are government taking to keep it running, to prevent it from being blocked?
At the moment, you can see that the government is doing a lot of silting, clearing the available waste just to reduce the level of flooding. And then we are opening new pockets of cesspools and artificial lakes to take the water because of the peculiarity of Benin City. Now we are telling communities, because a lot of communities, their natural draining point, they have sold it. Somebody has built a house on it. So the water cannot go to where it should go to naturally. So now if you want us to do roads for you, we are willing to do it, but you must show us the natural draining point. And many times it will be where somebody has already built. So that brings me to your question. What will we do when somebody builds on the road, when they build on natural floodplains, when they build on moats, when they build on right-of-way, other power line, and things like that? They should not do that. And we cannot, because of their hard-earned money, in quotes, leave those things there. We will remove them. We have to. If we don't, then all of us are all at risk. Because a lot of things are in your mind, you're wondering why are things like this? Benin has always been a planned city. So let's go back to what it used to be. And then make sure that our future takes into cognizance the way we are growing and the kind of infrastructure and services that we require.
TMC TV Tori people conduct a talk with the Commissioner for Physical Planning, Housing, Urban and Regional Development, Isoke Omo, to check out for the importance of this World Habitat Day.
As una know, as una hear today say, World Habitat Day na yesterday, which is normally they celebrate on the first Monday waiting for October. But yesterday, because our independence for this year for weekend, They used to take do Independence Day, so we can't move and come today. Yes, we take time to do am this time because we dey do master plan, we dey do new town, we dey do different hubs. So na the time when we need to bring everything together and tell people say na so. Say as a state we dey try to do things right. Make our habitat where we dey stay, make it for continue to work for us. Make we not go too much spoiler wey be say the place no go come dey enough for us to live. So that is why we call labels make dem come see. This year the theme be say mind the gap, leave no place or person behind. So that means say we need to call everybody, make sure say that they involved in keeping our environment safe, in keeping our environment friendly, in keeping our environment sustainable. Make everybody know wetin be their responsibility. Make dem not just live and say na government work. Not be government work, na everybody work. If you carry your dirty, put am for the right place. For your environment, keep am clean. If you want build house, get approval. If you want to be estate, get layout plan. If you want to buy land, buy from genuine person wey get genuine paper, with land wey get C of O, land wey get better survey. So if we dey do like that, and if you want build according to as we tell you, use good material, do all those, that one go make the environment dey better for everybody.
It's a Omo constituent for the Edo State Regional Master Plan and the Benin City Master Plan to make sure say our papa and mama for house understand wetin she dey talk.
You know say for life everything na plan. If you no plan, the thing no go work well. So even for our environment, everything na plan. If we no arrange everything well, you go see say where we suppose put road, na school dey there. Where we supposed to put school, na hospital dey there. Where we supposed to put hospital, na farm dey there. Where we supposed to put bridge, na another thing dey there. So all those things as they dey different. And the different things wey dey plan, now we wan gather together, put for inside document wey oyibo dey call master plan. That master plan na the collection of all the other plans together. Go don hear say they do this hub, that hub, all na plans for their own sectors. So all those sectors now we go carry together, put inside the physical master plan. Because everything wey they do for planning as far as development concern na on land. And so the physical environment get to dey in a place where we say those is where the plan go work. That is why we dey do the master plan. So the Edo own na for everywhere, both rural and urban area. While the Benin own concern the Benin city, wey be like 5 local government right now. So now be the 2 different master plans.
This na still TMC TV and radio studios. My name na Omo Ajakaye. I'm Bruce Agbonevari, na handle camera for this production, and Loretta Ojisele na be the linear editor. No side Dele Ogbedi, na produces Ogbonge Tori what the card can give you. Don't forget your PVC na be your power. No sell and give any politician an election day.